Black Phone 2 dials it in for Blumhouse with $27.3 million US opening and $43 million globally. It's really good, by the way. It says Blumhouse is back in action. Scott Derrickson's Black Phone 2 delivered horror maestro Jason Blum a major win and opening to a terrifyingly, I don't know if I've ever said that word, great $27.3 million from 3,411 theaters domestically and $15.5 million from 72 markets overseas for a global start of $42.8 million against a relatively modest $30 million production budget, according to final weekend numbers. The Pix debut follows a string of misses for the Universal-based banner, culminating with the pricey flop of Megan 2.0 earlier this year. And with Sunday traffic coming in ahead of modeling, Black Phone 2's official opening tally was even higher than an estimated $26.5 million domestically, which was already better than expected and ahead of the first film. So that's pretty crazy. I mean, they did a $30 million budget, and they're already at $42.8 million worldwide. And so, they probably also spent 50% to maybe 75% of their budget on marketing and promo. So, 30, let's say, maybe they spent 50 million total. So this looks like it's definitely going to be profitable. Goes on to say the sequel returns Ethan Hawke as a serial killer known as Grabber and Mason Thames as Finn. In the follow-up, the sinister killer seeks vengeance on Finn from beyond the grave by menacing his younger sister Gwen, who is played by Madeline McGraw. Heading into the weekend, Universal had the movie's debut at $18 million, but pre-release tracking turned out to be right in predicting that the R-rated sequel would come in ahead of the first film, Black Phone, the first one, opening in 2021 when cinemas were first recovering from COVID-19. Started off with $23.6 million in North America on its way to turning into a sleeper hit, amassing more than $161 million in worldwide ticket sales. That was before horror fatigue struck at the box office, not adjusted for inflation. So, I mean, this, let me get the camera back. This seems like, it's really good news for Black Phone 2 and the horror genre in general. I don't really love horror movies. Signs, like M. Night Shyamalan, he's about the only guy like in the scary realm that I'll watch because I just don't really like him. Scare me. I'm a little bit of a baby. And so I haven't seen the first Black Phone. I haven't seen the second one. Probably not going to see either one of them. But the horror genre is interesting because I feel like the horror genre and then faith-based genre, which is like two separate ends of the spectrum, are kind of like the only two genres that more often than not see success and profitability in this industry. And I don't really know why that is. I think it's probably because they have like a built-in, like they're very niche, and so they have like a built-in, not cult following, but like following that of people that are like always gonna go see it. So whenever you can make your movie for $30 million or less, like a lot of these faith-based movies, not The Passion of the Christ because those are expensive, but other ones are like $15-20 million. It's like you can make that back pretty consistently if you have like a built-in audience like they do in faith-based and horror genre. So, if the legs are strong, which I assume it will be, it looks like they're going to be profitable. And so, my main thoughts with this is that this is how Hollywood needs to do it. We've been talking about one battle after another, spending, $130 million and just, having this budget that is just balloon. And then, they spent another, who knows, 70, 80, 90 on marketing. And then they're not reaching profitability. And so therefore they don't reach profitability. So they don't get any sequels made. Where Black Phone 2, I don't know what the budget was of the first one, but it's probably around this or a little bit less. It gets a low, like a decent budget, but still like low, makes profitability, and then they're able to get a second one, and then it just does the same thing, and then who knows how this one ends, but probably could do a third one, probably could do a fourth one, probably could do a fifth one, just like the John Wick movies did, and then you start to scale up your budget. So that's where I think the industry needs to take lots of notes from what they're doing in this horror genre, with starting with lower budgets and then working their way up. Not that, and I'll turn this back on. I thought that I was sharing it, but not that obviously, like some movies, like superhero movies, intense action movies. At times the budget is just going to be higher because of the nature of the film. But like we talked about with One Battle After Another, if John Wick is, making a movie for $20-30 million, One Battle After Another should not be $130 million. That's just crazy. So yeah, let's head into Twitter and see what the people have to say about it. Okay. That's a scary picture, dude. See, like, this is why I can't watch these movies, because even just like looking at this freaks me the frick out. And you can see the eyes behind the mask. Dude, I'm such a baby. Palumi says no words but absolute cinema. Arctic Ghost says they did an excellent job on this movie. Very impressed and happy to see a good horror movie succeed. The Grabber might just be a new horror icon on the rise. I mean, it's a pretty recognizable look, so I could totally see that. Suarez says nothing scarier than a sequel that exists just because the first one made money. Yeah, I guess. I mean, there's definitely things scarier. This picture up here is probably scarier. George Ramirez says, would be cool if the third has more of a backstory, how Wild Bill obtained the mask, became the Grabber, maybe end it as a trilogy. Nice little trilogy, that would be good. Wow, what a cook, says Mobby. Play Night says, first one scared people, second one just scares wallets. That's probably true. It's getting expensive out there at the theaters. Flocker says, crazy how the phone got a better sequel. They probably meant Black Phone. Crazy how Black Phone got a better sequel than most Marvel heroes. True, but there's been some banger Marvel sequels out there, by the way. Spider-Man 2, Sam Raimi. It's hard to beat. Draco says, deserves everything. The sequel is absolutely fantastic. Pablo says, it worth the watch. Anyone? Black Phone 3 about to go crazy. Play Night says, nothing kills suspense faster than a horror sequel made for a spreadsheet. So I've seen a lot of this online. The reviews and reactions to this seem very like split. Like, I feel like I see some people saying it's amazing, some people saying that it sucks and they just made a sequel for the heck of it because they wanted to make money. But I mean, if a studio can make money, I'm all for it, because they need to make money where they can, because they've been struggling to do so. So anyway, that's my thoughts on it. That's the people's thoughts. So what are your guys' thoughts? Have you guys seen Black Phone 2? If so, did you like it? And are you hoping that they make a third one? Let me know your thoughts in the comments/chat. Hey, thank you so much for watching my video. If you like that and you want to stay up to date with more movie news, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, as we'll be keeping you up to date. And if you want to watch the long form podcast version of this, go into my channel, go to the videos, and then look for a video that is 45 minutes to an hour and a half long, and that'll be the full podcast. Thank you so much, and God bless.